Hello, everyone. I'm Frank Jernigan, also known as Phrancko, and I run the website phrancko.com. And we hold this meeting for Phrancko Sweater knitters every week at 2:30 Pacific time. If you have knitted a Phrancko sweater, or you're interested in knitting one, or you just want to ask questions about knitting one, or if you're working on anything else and just want to share it with a group of knitters who love to see what you're working on, please come join us. So that means all of you knitters come, please. 2:30 every Saturday Pacific time, and the link is on the website phrancko.com. Hello, Ali.
Hi there. Hi.
Hi, Susan.
Hello.
Hi, Sung.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Mary.
Hello.
Hi, Linda.
Hi, how do you do?
Good. Is this your first time here?
Yes.
Welcome. We'll hope you feel very welcome by the end. Hi, Sumner.
Hi.
Hi, Ron.
Hello.
Hi, Will.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, Sidra.
Hi there.
Hi, Wally.
Hello, how's everyone?
Hi, Sandra.
Hey.
Hi, Rendell.
Hi.
Hi, Cindy.
Hi, Frank.
It's very nice to see you all again. Quite a large group today. I'm glad to see. So, Linda, where are you from?
I live in San Diego.
Ah,
Ah, I'm also in California, in San Francisco.
Oh, the weather's beautiful today, huh?
It is. It's a gorgeous day.
It is a gorgeous day. I just finished Suzanne's Boot Camp 3. So
Oh,
I've been kind of watching you on YouTube, and finally I'm available on Saturday at 2:30.
oh, that's great. I'm so glad you joined us.
Yes, my fellow boot camper.
Ah. So you just finished boot camp also, Sumner?
Yeah, we were in the same boot camp. I did it, Cindy. Thank you.
Yay!
Cindy had me sign up, and I'm
I'm
so
so proud
glad
of
I
you.
did. I had no
I'm so
idea
proud of
about it
you.
until Cindy talked about it in this meeting.
It's really wonderful.
It was fabulous.
It truly was.
Because I'm kind of a new knitter. I mean, I've been knitting for like, I don't know, 5 years. So
Mhm.
that's new. That's a new knitter. I mostly knit Afghans for a couple years. And now now I don't do that anymore. But I learned things I didn't even know I didn't know.
Right,
Exactly.
Which is
exactly.
cool.
Exactly. Mhm.
And that's why I started boot camp. Because I heard of Frank and Zoom and TKGA and the master's program. And then I'm thinking, oh, I've knit for 35 years. I'm kind of cocky. And then I can do it. And then I realized I don't know nothing. I can make a sweater. I can make some socks. I can make some stuff look good. But boy, there's a lot more to this than,
There's
So I
always
backed
more
out
to
of that
learn.
and
There
started
really
boot camp.
is.
And I'm so glad I did.
She made things so easy. Like when you talk about intarsia, people always have a dirty look on their face. Like God forbid, you know?
Yeah.
So I have like no concept of it. And she made it so easy that I really don't have a negative toward intarsia at all.
Oh.
No,
It's
it's
kind of
pretty cool.
interesting.
We're talking about Suzanne Bryan's boot camp, by the way, in case somebody doesn't know that's what we're talking about.
But Linda,
Yeah.
Franco is the one who got me over the intarsia in the round. I couldn't conceptually get it. And so I got Antarsia, the book, which
Oh,
helps, right? But Franco had this great video in the round where it finally clicked what I physically had to do to accomplish Intarsia in the round. So I think Franco's a great accompaniment to some of those techniques that you just
okay.
looked at, and just go on his YouTube channel and you'll see like a lot of videos that help you bridge the gap.
Okay.
So
Sounds good.
yeah,
The,
because
the
I came to
YouTube
Franco
channel,
first and Susan second.
the YouTube channel is named Knitting by Phrancko. And you have
Oh,
to get
okay.
the spelling right. Phrancko. I also put up a new video last week. Have any of you seen it? On a specific use of ladderback jacquard, a very particular use.
I watched it.
Yeah.
I don't do much of that kind of knitting, so I've never even done ladderback jacquard. So I have to say that it looked really interesting, but I think I have to swatch some regular ladderback jacquard before I really get it.
Well, actually, the video is about how to trap a long float using the ladderback jacquard technique, even if you are not doing something that requires the full ladderback jacquard mesh on the back of your fabric.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm working on a pattern, which I'll show you in a minute, that required just one line of the pattern required spanning 8 stitches, and I didn't want to span 8 stitches, and so I put one start of ladderback jacquard on that line, and on the next line I end it. And I discovered that that's a really good way to trap a long float, even if it's a single long float. So then I did the video just to say, even though I've already done a very long video on all the ins and outs of every way and every variation of ladderback jacquard, I had to do one more to say, oh, and here's a particular use of ladderback jacquard to just trap a single float instead of trapping it in the traditional way, which is to sort of loop it over a stitch or whatever. Which the difference is ladderback jacquard doesn't show through to the front. A traditional way of trapping a float that's too long does peek through to the front often.
I'm sure it would also help stop a pucker too, like, because that would be a pucker point.
That's true.
I think that's, yeah. And Linda, just because you're the newbie and I've known you for a little while now with boot camp, 30 weeks. Ron is the one who first got me like, oh, this is ladderback jacquard. So I have to tell
Ron
you,
got me into it too. So
these
Ron, you
Phrancko
get the
knitters or
credit.
something. Pay attention.
Okay.
Take notes.
No, it was
I
Ron.
don't even know what it is.
I didn't even know what it was either until
I don't
Ron
know.
showed it to us.
And he's a master knitter. Just saying.
There's always more to learn. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
It's a black hole. Knitting is a black hole.
100%. Biggest rabbit hole there is, kids. But I frequently will like sit at this meeting with my notebook and a pen for like, what books do I need to add to my
Right.
library for references? What techniques? What people are working on. Have I done that before? That. So this is, I'm glad I was introduced to Frank first. I think it's a better format for me. Suzanne's great for all her videos, but she was a little overwhelming. I mean, she had 400 videos,
I think it's more like 4,000 videos.
Yeah, probably.
It's in the thousands anyway.
Frank was a little bit more approachable.
Did you sign up for Master Knitter? Did you sign up?
After I move, I'm signing in again
Oh.
to do the master because I move in like 2 weeks.
Because I'm not going to sign up yet.
Yeah. It's okay.
I think I'm going to take the class.
The sock one.
Beginner. Well, I'm going to take the sock, and then I'm going to take the beginner knitter class
Okay. Yeah.
from TK, whatever those
TKGA.
initials are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
I think I'll
basics,
take that.
basics. It's called
Yes.
Basics. Yes.
I think I'll take that, and then I'll think about it.
And there is an online Zoom weekend conference coming up called the Next Level Conference.
No, I'm going to that.
Yeah, that's really
Definitely.
good too. And there's even sections specifically tailored toward people doing different levels of the Master Hand Knitter program. And all of this is available at tkga.org. The best $35 a year you can spend.
Amen.
Agree.
Honestly.
And I really wanted to say hi to Mary. Mary, how you been?
I've been fine, but I've been reading than knitting. And my knitting is in the car, so I'm holding my hands and listening to all of you talk.
I thought texting and driving was bad. I don't know. More power to you.
Well, I don't knit and read very easily at the same time.
No, I don't either.
No, that's a little difficult.
Yeah, that's fun.
Audiobooks, though, are good for that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know,
Boom.
Yeah.
I know.
Frank,
Yes.
you put out newsletter. Is there any way to get the earlier copies from your blog, from your website?
Oh. I think I posted the first one and never posted another one on the blog.
On the blog.
On
Okay,
the
I'll
blog.
look through the blog.
But I haven't put out a newsletter in over a year now, and I keep
Right,
feeling
right.
like I need to do that. I'm just a terrible procrastinator.
I'll
It
go
would
and
be
read
great
that
if
first.
somebody came along and said, "Oh, let me do the newsletter for you."
It's all right.
But, you
It's all
know.
right.
Oh, I'm not good at newsletters. I never can think of anything to say in them.
I have a
Well,
question
I've
for
always
Ron.
enjoyed introducing somebody who has knitted for Phrancko Sweater and call it the featured Phrancko Sweater knitter.
I have a question for Ron. Somebody gifted me this mohair, and it is 80% mohair, 12% ULL, and
Wow.
8% nylon. I don't know what that is.
Where is it from? What yarn is it?
Norway. It looks like it's Norway.
So ull in Norwegian or Norsk in general, so also Danish, is just the word for wool.
Wool.
Mhm.
Okay. Is there
But
any
it
way
has-
to dye this?
Yes, acid-based dyes, including food coloring and some citric acid or vinegar as a mordant will let you dye that.
Okay.
Acid-based dyes you can get quite easily from. I use Dharma Trading Company for most of my things.
Mm-hmm.
Where have you gone? Bink. Okay, my Zoom went behind my web browser. Yes, I use Dharma Trading Company to get most of my acid dyes. They come in small amounts, and it goes a very, very long way. So you need specifically an acid dye to dye that, not what is called a fiber reactive dye, which is for dyeing plant materials. You need something for dyeing protein fibers. Craft store dyes like RIT will work on it, but because those often contain both an acid dye and a fiber reactive dye in the same-ish color to allow the home user to dye basically anything. So you can use a dye like RIT, although it may get you a different color than you expect because not all the dye is used up. And then many people have good luck as a home dyer using like a slow cooker or even a zippy bag on their microwave and mixing up food coloring and some acid to dye things in the home without much of a buy-in.
Okay. So when you say acid,
Hmm.
you mean the acid-based dye.
So they're called acid dyes because they use an acid as a mordant. You need something that will lower the pH.
Okay.
So many people use vinegar if you don't mind your house smelling of vinegar, which I don't. I have a big bag of citric acid, like a 50-pound bag of citric acid, because that's what I use in the dye studio. So vinegar, citric acid, depending on the ease of getting your hands on citric acid, it is easier to measure out particular small amounts. And then you can trick your friends and family with very sour food.
Okay. And if you were to dye it, would you put it into a
I absolutely would. I would. You have an umbrella Swift or something similar?
Yes.
Yep, I would
So,
just wind it onto a swift, tie it off. You add a couple of figure eight ties. There are many of excellent tutorials online for doing that.
Okay.
But so trying to dye something in a donut or a cake like that,
Mm-hmm.
uh, you could get like a gradient effect. Some people do that on purpose, but in general, yeah, you'll need to put it into a hank. Something to know about a brush textured yarn like that is it is going to look, when you pull it out, much lighter than you thought it would be. Because of the halo, the brush quality of the yarn makes it more diffuse.
Hmm.
So you'll dye something a like a dark, deep magenta, and you'll pull it out, and it will look light pink. And that is the nature of the texture of the mohair, even though it has taken a ton of dye.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Um,
Thank you. Thank you.
Knitpicks is also showing that they've got the acid dye available too,
Okay.
and
Thank
a
you.
couple of good videos on it.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, they've done better with their kind of classes that they do in Nitpicks.
I don't
Uh,
know if it picks, so it's nothing I can recommend, but there you have it.
Thank you very much.
I have never dyed anything other than like tie-dye t-shirts at like Sunday school.
could I ask a question, Ron, about dyeing as well, please?
Sure.
Yeah, I have some yarn. It's the Camarose, and it's in the very light color, which it says is a suitable base for dyeing. It's 50%, sorry, 70% wool, 30% cotton. If I was going to dye it, I'd need to use a protein and a plant base, so something like RIT.
Potentially.
Yeah, but
So,
the
go ahead.
reason I need to dye it is because I inadvertently bought two dye lots of it. I've got 7 skeins of it, so I've got about
Mm,
1,400 meters. But there's a definite difference in the shading. One is lighter. So if I'm starting off with two different ones, I'm liable to get two different ones as my end result, am I?
yeah, depending on how different they are and how dark you go. If
Okay.
so the process of dyeing something that has already been dyed to change its color slightly or dramatically is called over dyeing. What you would be doing is over dyeing your yarn. And so if you've started with something very, very light and you're moving it to something very, very dark, like a deep aubergine color or a dark forest green, it may make no difference.
Okay.
But if you're just adding a slight color, it may be very different. So in all cases, swatching is your best bet, pulling off a bit, giving it a bit of a dye test. That said, at that degree of cotton to wool, that ratio, you may get just a result that's just fine with just an acid dye, for example. It may be a little lighter than you otherwise intended, but it could completely overpower the cotton. I've dyed a 50-50 cotton blend, a cotton wool blend, and gotten quite saturated colors with them before. Or using a mix of both is also a great call. Or you could get just a bit of a tint by dyeing it with only a fiber reactive dye. One thing to watch out for when dyeing a mixed fiber dye is that one or the other fiber isn't going to catch one or the other dye. Meaning it may just hang out on the fibers and not become part of the yarn itself through the chemical reaction it needs with the mordant, meaning it could crock off on your hands and you can have a yarn that bleeds for a while. So you must be very, very thorough with the rinsing when dyeing a mixed fiber like that, with a protein fiber with a cellulosic fiber.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Wow, that's brilliant.
Blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, Ronnie.
I've
Yeah.
thought hard about
One
this
of the
yarn,
other
so,
things that you can do is if you've got, and it depends on how much difference it is, if you just have one skein, that you could use that skein for like your ribbing and your cuffs and your collar. Or if it kind of just is barely different, you can start it either at the top or the bottom and do it, and then do helix knitting to integrate the other skeins so that it blends it, and that can work really well. Again, you need to swatch and see how it works.
I did actually swatch it, Cindy, and it's very different.
Very different.
You can even see it when it's in the bag. It's definitely lighter, but they say it's their base. I'm just trying to remember it. They say it's their base yarn. I think I can't even pronounce it. Summerold or something, and apparently it's a base that people buy for dyeing.
Oh, okay. Well, good, yeah.
So I don't know if I am over dyeing or if I obviously am. See, I
Well,
can't
or if
pronounce it.
if it's a real pale color, maybe it's not been dyed. Maybe it's
it
different
is.
animals.
Yeah,
they will have a different
that's
color.
what it is. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So one's like sounds like Oklahoma. One's like milk and the other one's more like cream. So it definitely is that difference, you know. It's
Yeah. In that case, you could probably take your yarn down to have it homogenized.
Sorry.
Yes,
He's talking about milk and cream.
Is what they do with milk, that they mix it so the cream
Oh
doesn't
yeah,
separate.
yeah, with you. Sorry, I thought it was a dyeing technique then.
No.
Well, it would work. It would work.
No, it's Ron's sense of humor.
I said too many useful things in a row and had to counteract it somehow.
Which is also dyeing.
I was just going to get a RIT dye and chuck it in. I've never dyed anything in my life successfully. But I was cautious because it has this cotton, and I remember dyeing a top once and the colour took beautifully apart from all the cotton that it stitched everything with. It didn't take at all, so it was worse than I started off. So with this, I've got 4 of one and 3 of the other, and it's neither use nor ornament to me really. So I thought I'd give it a go.
Give it a go. Make a big mess of it. It's a lot of fun to dye. Giving yourself permission to just sort of be creative. If you want it to be a nice, even color, your first time dyeing, that may not be what you get. It may be very splotchy and tonal and colorful. So going in with an experimental mindset, and I suppose it's rather like having a child. You can just decide to have one. You're not in control of whether it comes out weird.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate that. And Cindy, thank you.
Best of luck. We look forward to seeing it.
Well, no, I'll be still procrastinating like
Oh no, just do it. Be bold.
Sounds like fun.
Come back and we'll encourage you to try it every week.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was surprised when you said a slow cooker, though. I thought I had to put it on a pot.
You do not. Many people quite successfully use a slow cooker. There are many wonderful tutorials from sort of kitchen dyers who have a dedicated slow cooker that they use. If you have a slow cooker that you intend to use for food again, use a liner.
Yeah, no, I don't. I've got a slow cooker that's never ever used. It's just taking space at the back of the cupboard. So
it now has a job.
The universe is conspiring to make you a home dyer.
From being an ex-Sunday school teacher, do not dye in aluminum unless you want to throw out the pot.
Don't do that.
Right.
If you're doing it in a pot, make sure it's stainless steel.
Okay. I was hoping I could just chuck it in the washing machine, but I obviously can't because of the cotton.
Yeah, and just rinse.
Right.
Like any good tie-dye experiment, you got to rinse. Or they'll throw it in the wash and you're going to have some angry mother come and yelling at you. Not that that's ever happened. Shh. It's the internet. No one will see this.
People are watching and going, he was the teacher.
That was him. Some poor dad with pink underwear.
Not the first, won't be the last.
No, not even close. So I've been moving and not knitting, and I've been doing all this packing and not watching yarn videos. I have so missed you guys. I needed you this week.
Oh, good.
Some of us have been there and done that and understand.
Yes.
How far is your move, Sumner? How far are you going?
I'm going about 45 minutes north.
Okay. Okay. That's not so bad. It's not terribly far.
Well, it's another state.
Oh, it is.
It's another world politically.
It is. New Hampshire. I lived in New Hampshire.
Oh, did you?
Oh, yeah.
Where did you live?
I lived in Derry.
Oh, okay. So that's like northern Massachusetts.
Live free
How
or
much New
die.
Hampshire is there to choose from?
You know that's their logo. Live free or die.
Which
Yeah.
is the stupidest thing, because if you saw my property insurance bill, people, you'd swallow your teeth.
You're right.
There ain't nothing free about that property insurance.
Yeah.
But and like the property taxes, wow, it's like rent. It's crazy. But we don't tax, the grocery store. Yeah, well, neither do we. Okay, but you don't pay tax on clothes. But okay, fine. But or big appliances. So
What about yarn?
no tax on anything you buy as a consumer.
But you have to pay for your garbage. You have to pay for your water, your heat, and the heat is astronomical.
Well, it's cold. I get that here in northern Massachusetts, but it's not really saving.
Right.
They don't have income tax, if that helps. But I work in Massachusetts, so I still pay income tax.
Right.
I always get a little snigger when people leave California complaining about like the tax liability here. They live in a world in their minds where the state isn't going to somehow get their money when they move.
Yeah, not true.
Like the state will still be getting money from you, but okay.
Right. So the funny thing about the difference between Massachusetts and New Hampshire is like we have to register our car. And when we register our car, it's for 2 years, but it's pretty affordable. It's very cheap. It may be $100. And then you pay excise tax for the town that you live in because you like park on the street, and they use that money to maintain the street. And then if you're in New Hampshire, they say, oh, you pay excise tax. Yeah, you try to register a car in New Hampshire, it starts at $500.
Wow.
Yeah, so like they're getting your money, people. I don't care what you call it.
Yeah.
I think I have the best of it. I live just over the river from Oregon,
Okay.
so no sales tax. And then Washington doesn't have income tax.
Right.
Oh, there you go.
Not that it
Exactly.
bothers
That's
me.
what
'cause
I
I don't
am
work.
now. That's what I do now in Massachusetts. I'm on a border town. I could walk to New Hampshire. I don't
Sidra,
shop in Massachusetts.
Are you in like Vancouver, Sidra?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're in Vancouver. Yeah, cool.
Oh,
I grew up
that's
in
sweet.
Washington, so I lived in the Seattle area for years, and one of my favorite professors from college now lives in Vancouver.
Couve.
And that's not British Columbia.
No.
No. Just over the river.
Just over the river. Oh, that's fine.
All the Portlanders I know refer to it as the Couve.
The coup.
That's what it is. The couve.
The couve? What's a couve?
It's just the shortened, the
Oh, for
Vancouver.
Vancouver. Oh, I get it. Okay.
So, who has something they'd like to show us they're working on? Not
I
to
do.
interrupt this lovely discussion, but let's get back to knitting.
Let's get back to that.
I'm
still working
seeing
on it.
Sidra.
Sidra.
Oh, look at that.
I want it done.
Wow.
Oh, that's
Great.
lovely.
Oh,
It's beautiful.
It's gorgeous, though.
I still
Sidra,
have
I
another
quit.
couple weeks.
Which seasons have you done? Show us each season.
Okay, so winter
Okay.
and spring,
Nice.
Mm.
summer,
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
look at that.
and I'm on fall or autumn.
Cool.
Oh, that's great.
Wow.
Love it. Love your
Wow.
Oh, those cats are so cute.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what I'm going to do with this thing.
Is that
Yeah.
just a pattern or is it like an Alistair Sims nightmare?
No, it's a mystery, knit along.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
I love double knitting. It's just a time suck.
yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
I've got all these other projects I want to work on, and I can't because I got to finish this.
Yeah.
Baby blanket hell. Understanding.
Tell me about it. I still have this thing that's been worked on.
Yeah.
Well, we have some activity over here.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Okay, you want to go first?
No, you can go.
Okay, first of all, we filmed last Saturday, and Saturday night I finished my husband's sweater.
Wow.
Oh,
Oh, how
that's
nice. Look at that.
beautiful.
Yes. Mm.
It turned out so nice.
My first time to do set-in sleeves.
Very nice.
They
Nice.
look great.
I give them like a B plus.
What was the process for your set-ins? Because there's a couple of different ways.
Well, first you knit them 5 times. That was one.
First you did them 5 times.
Okay. Okay. It had a wedge shape and then the circle
Bell. Yeah.
now. And so I mattress stitched up the sleeve and then the body of the sweater and then inset the sleeve and went around and back stitched the sleeve in.
Okay.
Okay.
Sweet.
And that turned out fine.
It's a great process. Yeah.
And then the very next day it got too hot to wear it. This is the first time I'm ready for a season ahead of time. So I'm okay, right? And then I started, let's see, that was Saturday night. So Sunday morning I got up and it was real quiet. And I figured out my son-in-law's sleeve decrease rate because I stopped sooner than the Phrancko directions. I just stopped like an inch or inch and a half sooner. So I just recalculated it. And I worked on my sleeve and I'm getting closer.
Mm.
You can see I stopped about, well, where that first marker is.
Yeah. And an inch and a half won't matter a hill of beans.
Yeah. So I'm just cruising along. I think I have to knit about 4 more inches and then I'm going to stop ahead of the cuff and do the other sleeve because I cannot find one hank of yarn that I bought. I don't know where it is.
Oh no.
So I have to get another one. I want to do all the cuffs and the ribbing in that extra one. And then I had some, you know how when you finish a big project, or I don't know, when I finish a big project, then I kind of go over and do some little quick mindless project.
I do too.
Yeah. So I had this one ball of this mohairish yarn. It is mohair, but it's mohair and wool. So it's a little more rough, but this thing, I'm sorry, I've forgotten what the name of the yarn is, but it is so hairy. I don't know if you can.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, mohair is hairy.
Oh
It's
my God.
beautiful.
It's very
like-
hairy
It's
mohair.
really pretty.
Mohair on
Yeah.
steroids. Hairy mohair. So I had it at work and I didn't have as much done. I was laying on my desk and I told Brindle, I just kind of walked back in my office and I thought there was some animal sitting on top of my
Don't forget to pet the cat.
Yes,
Fabulous.
because it's easy. I was just like, what is that on my desk?
Funny. Oh, great.
That's
But I do love it. I'm knitting it on 2.5. And next week I'll tell you what the pattern name is. It's a free pattern that I got. It's I don't even know how to say it. But I know I'm going to run out of the yarn, so I don't know how I'm going to problem solve that, but I'll figure it out. It'll be a one of a kind with a lot of, yeah, but it's beautiful.
It's gorgeous. Yeah,
It's,
that's something.
it's pretty.
Oh, it
Mhm.
is.
And when you knit mohair on a tight gauge, what a beautiful fabric it produces.
So you can just see the fuzz factor. So
Oh,
anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. So my goal is to this week finish that sleeve except for the cuff, and then start the next sleeve immediately and get it going, and hopefully have those sleeves done in about 10 days, and then get back onto the body, because the body will be mindless. Won't be quick, but it'll be mindless.
Yeah.
Oh, I did try it on, and it looks amazing with one sleeve. Looks really good.
Oh, that's fun.
Good.
Thanks, Frank. Looks great.
I love hearing that. And how about you, Rendell? You have
Well-
something you show us?
No, yes
Yes.
and no.
Yes.
Yes and no. I have to show you this because I'm starting over again.
Within the last 15 minutes.
Yes. Well, I knew it wasn't right. I kind of felt like it wasn't right. But so I kept going, and then today we confirmed that it wasn't right. So I'm starting over again, which is not. Sandra was kind of looking at me, and I said, okay, fine, let's just start over. And I was smiling about it because now I have a better idea of what not to do.
Right.
And so I'm kind of excited about starting over and just seeing how fast I can get back to where I was and past there.
And how
Good for
far
you.
were you? How
Split for sleeves.
what? Split for sleeves? You went all the way down there? You finished the hard part of the sweater.
Right.
It's in the round with increases just scattered all the way around.
Oh.
You know,
So just a yoke.
Oh, it's a yoke.
And so she texted the other day and she says, I'm ready to split for sleeves, so I'm not quite sure how to do it. We'll do it on Saturday. And I was like, cool. But before that, last weekend, she sent me a text. Was it like at 9? At night, she's like, I can't get this collar to work because she started out knitting flat instead of in the round. So
Oh.
she's already knit that once. So I said, well, I have the needles you can use. And she put her shoes on. It was 9 o'clock at night to come up. And I told her I'd meet her halfway.
Well, but I thought that was a little bit too anal, but I did think about my options. I started laying out my options. I needed to first see where I was going to be able. I knew the yarn store was closed on Monday and Tuesday, and this was Sunday night. So I was thinking, okay, if I can't get it, I know that store, let me go to Michael's, see if they have it. If it's not that, then I looked at Amazon, they weren't going to have it till Friday. So Sandra was going to be my last option, but I was determined I was going to find it because I was determined that I was going to start it.
Yeah.
Good for you. That's
What
great.
pattern
I
are
could be
you
so much
doing?
happier with it.
Oh, sorry. What pattern are you doing, Rendell?
I am doing
Right here.
starter sweater. I don't know who's the
Okay.
Mark Williams starter sweater.
I did a purple one and she saw that, tried it on, and so she wanted to try it. You can see.
Oh.
Ah, is it a raglan or a yoke? I can't tell from the picture.
It's a yoke.
It's a yoke. Okay.
It's a yoke. So I think what happened is she somehow lost how many segments she needed. And so when she got down to split for sleeves, she didn't have enough segments to get the width that she needed and the amount of stitches.
Oh.
So she's starting over, but she's doing a great job.
And I knew it, but it was something, sometimes something is wrong, but you want to keep going because now that I've done it wrong, I know what's wrong.
I see.
And I would
That's
not
good.
have known that had I not been persistent in keeping going. So
Yeah.
par for the course.
Right. We learn from our mistakes. Unfortunately,
Absolutely.
too often we learn from mistakes and not just from hearing the right thing
You
to
need
do.
to have a different word than mistakes.
challenges, opportunities to start over again.
Learning.
Opportunities to start over. I like that.
Opportunities.
That's what Suzanne always said.
The process. Yeah. I mean, like,
Absolutely.
nowhere in my instructions that it said knit that sleeve 5 times, you know.
That's fun.
Well,
Do
thanks
you
for
use
sharing your experience.
the little bulb hooks or dental elastics, Rendell?
I didn't.
What are you using? She's using the little round, just the little circles.
Yeah.
Little rings.
Mhm.
But are they like safety pin ones?
No.
Mm-mm. They're the cocoa knits.
Yeah, I use those all the time.
Yeah, like what she's got right there on hers.
There's little bulb, they call them bulb pins.
Bulb, yeah.
Bulb pins. They're cheap, and any art store will have them like dozens and dozens.
Hold one up so we can see what you're talking about. Somebody.
I don't have one.
Bulb pin?
I have it. I got it.
Here, I've got one.
Do you have it?
Let me.
But if you put one of those at your change, you won't lose track of your segments.
Oh, there's one. Yes.
Thank you, Will.
They're like little light bulbs.
Cindy.
Like a little pin.
Yeah, like a little light bulb. Little light bulb.
I
Put
see
one
it.
of those at your change of your segments, and you won't lose track of your segments.
Except I think the other part of that is also count your segments.
Well, yes.
And I think in my haste to start, I think I was so excited of just absolutely starting because this is my first time learning how to do it in knitting in the round. So I think it was just a combination of a lot of things. And so I have an opportunity to learn something new.
Yeah.
There it is. That's great. Good for you. You'll love it. I can't wait to see it come along.
Me
It's
too.
gorgeous. It's going to be gorgeous.
Who else has something to show us?
So this is
I have my little in-between project. My little sock.
Oh,
that's pretty.
That's pretty.
That's nice.
Different yarn for the cuff and the heel. It's the same heel I always use by Cat Bordy. It's a self yarn. This I could do blindfolded, but I still have my book next to me. It's like that book is like a comfort for me for some reason. I just like it on the page. I haven't looked at it yet, but it's still open to the page. Until I move.
So how long is that?
I close on the 3rd.
Hmm.
So 4/3/25. And I move on 4/5, which is a Saturday, so I won't be meeting you then, but I'll be here next week, God willing.
Well, I'll show you. I've made some progress on my sweater. Let's see.
Oh,
wow.
Oh, how nice. Wow.
Love the color.
Wow.
That's looking great.
And the new color that's being introduced is purples and blues.
Too. I like
Beautiful.
that.
And that will go into a more solid blue, which I have here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Hmm.
So how many different colors of yarn is that?
4. There's
Only
the
4.
multicolored orange at the top. I think it's orange. It's predominantly orange. Then there's the red. Then back to the orange. Then the purpley blue and the solid blue will follow.
Oh, wow. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Well, I'm not surprised. Actually, this is one of those projects where I wake up every morning going, oh, I've got to get to the next change in color so I can see what that looks like. And when I get excited about a project and I wake up thinking, oh, I can't wait to go knit and get to the next stage, that's the kind of project I really love.
Yeah.
So I'm really enjoying knitting this, and that's why I made quite a bit of progress in the last week.
Oh, that's great.
I
That
think
is
that's
great.
why
It's beautiful.
stranded knitting is my favorite knitting technique because of
Yes.
the incremental progress, and it comes out and you feel like an old dot matrix printer.
That's right.
That
Oh,
must
sure.
I have a lot of, I don't know, balls in the fire and irons in the air. There may have been.
Watch your head.
Yes. So we're dyeing up more spinning fiber for local yarn store day. And lately people have been coming in, like new people to the shop with Joanne closing. That's been a thing. So I spun some up for people who ask, like, what do you knit out of this? So there's a demo of, and it's a plain spun from one end of the skein or of the mass of yarn of the top to the other and chain plied in a worsted weight. That's one thing I did. And then also for local yarn store day, we're debuting a new hand-dyed cashmere, which we received in cones. This is a little swatch knit with it directly from the cone with the sizing still in, and that is very blown out.
Yeah, it is.
So this feels almost like cotton with the mill oil still in. And then this is a hat that I made out of some that I've dyed.
Oh,
Oh, how nice.
Oh, nice.
It's buttery. So it goes from feeling like twine with the sizing in too. And this is a hat pattern I'm working on that is working title is alligator leather, which is what it reminds me of visually. I don't know.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so I think that it came from a mill. It's not an existing hand knitting yarn. So this was my swatch of it hand dyed, so I could make a recommendation. Swatched from a size 3 to an 8, and I think the fabric in the realm of 5, 6, 7 is my favorite. So that's what I'm going to recommend. Nice, but even on the 3, it's still those stiffer, a very nice quality. And just getting to know the yarn, I've got a swatch of linen stitch or half linen stitch, which I think is beautiful, knit up on a big needle. Here it is, held double stranded and knitted at a chunky gauge.
Oh, that's pretty.
It's beautiful. This is an experiment I did. There was a magazine that had a garment on the front of it that the sample knitter had wrote out pretty bad, and I thought it looked so cool. And so this is knit on a 5 and a 10, alternating. So you can kind of see it has a subtle texture.
Yeah.
You see
That's
it?
great.
And then, so this is what I've been doing. Just pulling little swatches and knitting the yarn to kind of get the feel for how it behaves so I can learn about it.
So is it really like a fingering weight yarn that there's
370 yard or 270 yards rather over 100 grams. So
so it's more like a
between
DK.
Yeah, DK is probably what I'm going to call it.
Well, bald-headed men love cashmere hats. Just saying.
Yeah. And this is the same hat pattern with my weird hand.
That's pretty.
Oh, that's
yay.
But I'm
Yes, I like
experimenting
that
with a
hand
different
spun
crown.
It's so nice.
And then this, wrap it up, Ronnie. This is a brand new yarn we got, which is beautiful. It is called Satiny. It is a 2-ply make cotton. It's incredibly soft and squishy and beautiful. This is Satiny by Jody Long. It's brand new.
And it's 100% cotton?
Yes.
Wow. It
Not
looks
a lot
so
of
unusual.
finishing into it.
If someone else wants to go, when Tim gets back, I'll show you the sample garment we got so you can see how it behaves and drapes. But
okay.
Beautiful.
Could I ask this group, today I was looking on a site called Temu, Temu,
Yeah.
and it's a very inexpensive Chinese site.
Right.
And I mean, it's really inexpensive. And they had cashmere.
No,
I was wondering if anybody has looked at their yarns. They're all from China.
I would not trust that it was cashmere, just so you know.
Well, I'm
I've
not,
actually got
I mean,
friends-
I'm not, I wanted to just ask anybody if they had bought it or if
I've got a friend that's bought quite a bit of yarn from Temu, and her experiences have been mixed, to say the least.
Okay.
Some of them, they've been really lovely. She bought like a cotton blend, and that was really nice. She bought a type of kid silk, which when it came, I mean, my dog would have trouble lying on it. It was that hairy and prickly. And
Okay.
Yeah.
but I think one of the main things to be very careful of with Temu is I don't think I know anybody. You may get away with it for a while, but I don't know anybody that's actually, well, certainly not in the UK, bought off Temu and then not ended up getting scammed sometime in the future.
Okay.
Because that's what their whole thing is. They're just selling data.
Okay.
So I would, I would proceed with caution, as they say.
But
Both from
their,
the
their
experience.
cashmere was unbelievably cheap.
The thing is, it's like they say, isn't it? If it's too good to be true, it probably is.
Right. That's why I'm
Yeah.
I
Well, the
didn't buy
cashmere
it yet.
trade
I
is
didn't
so
buy
weird.
it.
Like the cashmere trade, if you read up on it, they literally destroy hundreds of tons of cashmere every year so that they can keep the price artificially high. So does some of it actually get to cashmere and yarn itself for cheap? I'm sure.
Okay, I'm glad I asked.
Because I love knitting with cashmere and I get a few things I've made. Love it. But I don't know. It might be worth it to give it a go, but I wouldn't trust also what the content was.
Yeah.
Or sometimes go to Salvation Army and look at all the sweaters they have hanging there, and you might find a cashmere one. You can undo the whole thing.
Good.
Some people have done that.
Oh yeah. I love that guy. He does the YouTube channel. He does that.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, he's something.
It's man, is it?
Yeah, too much effort.
I had a friend who bought a knit blanket from Temu, and a skein of yarn arrived.
Oh.
So,
One.
I still haven't stopped laughing about it. Neither of you.
Skein of yarn.
Yeah, so some assembly and another, kilogram and a half of yarn required.
Yeah, some assembly required. That's fabulous.
Yeah.
Blanket.
While I'm here, this is satiny knit up.
Oh wow.
Okay.
That's
Oh, how
beautiful.
nice. Oh,
It
that's
has
gorgeous.
It's really pretty.
a
Yeah.
beautiful drape.
Yeah.
It's lovely and smushy.
Oh wow.
How stretchy.
Yeah, it has good recovery.
It has good recovery for a cotton. And in the hand, it just feels amazing. Mako cotton is a beautiful breed of cotton. One of our very popular yarns is a chainette in Mako cotton. This is the first traditionally spun Mako cotton we have, and I think it's going to be incredibly popular.
What weight is it?
Yes. It calls for a 5, so it's in that nebulous area between a sport and a DK.
Great. Good weight
Looking
for-
at it, pardon?
That's a good weight for a summer sweater.
Yeah, looking at it, it looks fine. If this were a wool, I would call it a sport weight, but vegetable yarns always look a bit finer than their animal yarn counterparts. So I think, particularly for my knitters here in the Central Valley of California, I would call it a DK weight.
Yeah. Well, it's just that I find a lot of really nice cottons in worsted weight, But worsted weight's too heavy for cotton for me in Arizona. I mean,
Mm.
worsted weight cotton's great for somebody in Minnesota, maybe.
Right.
But for Arizona, I need really lightweight things for summer.
Well, I would be happy to send you a ball to try if you'd like, because I like getting things into people's hands. And
Well, I'd be
I
happy
know he's troubled that way. Be careful.
to your website as soon as this is over and find a color and order some. So you don't need to send
you
it.
can also, it is on the website, I believe.
I found the color I like.
Did you?
Oh, geez, you're already so. I had years ago a Donna Karan white cabled cardigan in cotton. I literally put 3 different sets of buttons on that thing over 15 years. Finally had to toss it. I would love a white cardigan out of that stuff, I'm thinking.
This
It's
yarn is
available.
See, he's always trouble. He's always going to get me.
I don't know. I get excited, and I can't knit with. Well, I'm knitting a sample. I'm knitting a sample swatch, so I have knit with everything here, but I can't, make something out of everything that I want to. So I outsource my excitement.
Yeah.
Usually, a Phrancko can be made a cable cardigan pretty easy.
We have just a
Make
few
your
minutes
hoodie.
left. There must be more people who have things they want to share.
May I ask something?
Oh, sure, soon.
I don't know if we're gonna have time, but I started knitting this sweater. I don't know, about 3 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Fantastic.
Oh, my God. Look at that.
Beautiful.
Hmm.
And I ran into a wall. So I did the back. And I have to show this to you while I'm in Chicago. When I go back to New York, I won't have this. But I knitted the back and the
Oh, it's
sleeve.
beautiful.
Whoa, look
All
at
the
that.
sleeves. But my husband doesn't want that. Doesn't want this neckline. He wants just a plain turtleneck.
Okay.
And there's no schematic. And I'm doing the front, and I don't know what to do. Try to look at Ravelry. I think there's only like 24 projects, and if somebody changed the neckline, they didn't leave any notes. And Sandra knitted was showing a pieced set and sleeve, and the question I wanted to ask is the front and the back same shape?
No, mine wasn't.
No.
My neck dropped down deeper than the back of
Right.
the collar. But I think you could just knit just not as tall as what that is showing, just tall enough where your husband is happy with it, and then you could bind off and knit it in a 1x1 rib or a 2x2 rib, however you wanted the turtleneck to be.
Okay.
Guys, what do y'all think?
I agree.
Hmm.
I think
Yeah, you should be able to just pick up stitches like you were going to, but just don't knit the fancy pattern that they've got in. Just
Right,
do
just-
like a 1x1 or a
Yeah.
2x2 rib,
Yep. Yep.
whichever you think would look better. It looks like they've got like a 2x2 rib on the
Yeah.
cuffs,
Yes.
and so it might look better on the neck in just a plain 2x2 rib.
Mhm.
And
you
make
don't
it
think,
long enough that it folds over if you want the turtleneck.
right. And looks like I need to do some decreases because
I wouldn't.
I need to get rid of all the stitches.
I wouldn't
Right.
think so for the neck. You might make it too tight. It would be
Well, the-
uncomfortable.
So it's not bound off at the neck?
No, like the cable is eating so many stitches. I would have to do some to kind of decrease so that to compensate for the cable.
I agree. I think you
I do
need to do
too.
some decreases when you
Yeah.
end the cable.
Yeah, because there's extra stitches in there to account for the way that the crossings of the cable are going to pull in, and if you're not doing the cable crosses, it might flare out.
Yeah.
Flare out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, your pickup is going to be very similar to the way it's picked up on the side of the neck or on the back, where it is just ribbing. So you could use kind of the same ratio for the front continuing.
Just evenly pick up because it's bound
Right.
off.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
So you can
Okay.
measure across the complicated cable and see what that length is.
Right. Yeah.
Measure across your 2x2 on your cut.
Good
Yes.
idea.
Will tell you,
Um,
what the gauge is for your 2x2 ribbing, and
yes.
then substitute out those.
Okay. That's a good idea. Thank you
Yeah,
so
you
much.
want your stockinette equivalency number. You want to see how many stitches of stockinette go across that width that the cable is going across. The cable might be, I don't know, 16 stitches wide, but it's only 2 inches across, and maybe you're getting 5 stitches per inch, and so it's only 10 stitches that your equivalent for stockinette would be 10 stitches to those
Mhm.
16 stitches. So
Right.
now you know you need to reduce 6 stitches across that
Okay.
difference. I just made
So
up those numbers, of course. You'd have to
Mhm,
use the real
mhm.
numbers.
Thank you so much.
Sure. Well, I
Good
think
luck.
that closes us
Good-
out for the hour. So we've run a little bit over, but it was
Okay.
wonderful.
Sorry.
Once again, thank you so
Frank, can I
much,
have just
everyone.
a
It's so
moment of your
good to see
time when
you
you're
all.
done?
Have a nice night.
Bye.
Have a good night,
everyone.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.